Yeah, and you can like it can go into the cloud. It can go to your email. It can turn stuff into PDFs, whatever your notes are. Because I know
There's a charge, John.
actually it's her that she doesn't like when we print all the papers
We're
out.
ready to go,
Yeah, I
Mayor.
know.
So this can help her. This would help her
We're
save.
ready to go.
When you're taking notes, this
Yep.
helps save.
Yeah, because
paper.
here
Well,
I have
whenever
my
you're ready.
book that I carry around
Whenever
everywhere.
you're
I was
ready,
just
sir.
complaining about the weekly pay
All right.
slips we get every 2 weeks.
You guys
Such
ready?
a waste.
Yeah.
Are we ready over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's, how do I work this? Let's see. Push. Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. I would like to call the February 27th, 2024 closed session city council meeting to order. I would like to point out that this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city website and by Zoom teleconference. City Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Kendrick.
Here.
Councilmember Krupa.
Here.
Councilmember Lilienthal.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson.
Here.
Mayor Mills.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you, sir. At this time, members of the public may only comment on an item appearing on the agenda. Please adhere to the following when addressing the council. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes or less. Comments should be directed to the council as a whole and not directed to individual council members. City Clerk, are there any registered speakers?
Mayor, there are no registered speakers.
Mayor, before we go on to item 4, I'm going to request that we add an item under 4B. So it currently is for significant exposure to litigation, number of cases 1. I'm going to ask that the city council change that to 2. And we need a 2/3 vote to make that change.
Okay. City Clerk, can we get a vote?
I need a motion.
I'll make
on
the
floor.
motion.
Our motion?
And I'll
Okay.
second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Lilienthal, second by Councilmember Krupa. We're going to do a roll call. Councilmember Kendrick.
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa.
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson.
Yes.
Mayor Mills.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0 to add this item to the agenda.
Thank you. Council will now proceed to closed sessions. Thank you for joining us. A report of closed session will occur after the deliberations.
The reason I'm showing you this
Test.
Is Linda here, or Lynn here? Dornbrocker? I'm sorry? Okay. Good evening. I would like to call the February 27, 2024 regular City Council meeting to order. I would like to point out that this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city's website and by Zoom teleconference. I would like to remind council to have their microphones turned on and positioned so the audience can hear you. City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Kendrick.
Here.
Councilmember Krupa.
Here.
Councilmember Lilienthal.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson.
Here.
Mayor Males.
Here.
All members are present.
Okay. Alrighty. Did we have a church here for the invocation? If not, I'll say the invocation then. I'll be reading out of Ephesians 6 through 10 through 18. The armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord, and in his mighty power, put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand firm. Then with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with a breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted in the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows and of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. Father God, we're here as a group to make sure our city is blessed. We all wear the armor of God so we can protect our city and do the best we can to make it a city that everyone can be happy in, Father God. I thank you for everything you do for us. I thank you for the wisdom you give us, and I thank you for all the people that stand up here and try hard to keep this city going and strong and keep it strong. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Malcolm Lilienthal.
Please recite the pledge with me. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move to the city attorney's report from closed session. City attorney, can we get a report out, please?
Thank you, Mayor. There's no reportable action this evening.
Thank you, sir. We will now move to communications from the public. There is a 3-minute per person time limit for all general public comments on non-public hearing items. All who wish to speak, including council members and staff, need to be recognized by the mayor before speaking. For those that wish to join by Zoom, you will be asked to raise your hand if you would like to speak. Please state your name and item you are commenting on before speaking. We will take public comment for items listed on the agenda. And I will start with Deborah Shamber. Hello.
I'm here today to talk about the industrial project that's going behind my house. I've been talking to you guys for over 2 years. I don't know, refresh your memory. I'm the lady that is asking for a contingency of the brick to be added to the block wall behind my home. I've been on this for 2 years. I had a petition. I got the neighbors to sign paper to agree that they would have the brick put on their wall. When there was an issue about the wall not being strong enough, I had the Riverside County come and pack the dirt with a tractor and make it ready. I went to every meeting except for December 5th because I had family out from Missouri, and it was a family get-together that night. So I couldn't come, but I called Monique, and I told her, please, please, make sure my voice is heard there. It's the only meeting that I'm not going to be able to attend. Well, that was the meeting you guys, I guess, approved the project. I came the next meeting, and I spoke with, I believe, Linda and Jackie, and at the break, when there was a potty break, and they told me, assured me that I was taken care of, as well as my 2 neighbors. So I was thrilled, and I actually danced out of the hall meeting, literally dancing, and I turned to the audience, and I said, they really do help the people here in Hemet, especially the little people, which that's me. Well, I went to the planning department. I talked to Jeremy, called him, and he said that he did not think that that was a contingency. And I said, oh no, I talked to Linda and I talked to Jackie, and they told me it was. So I called him again. He said he was gonna see. He never called me back. So I went down to City Hall and read the plan, and it was not put as a contingency. And I would like to know, Mayor Joe, council people, how we can make this right. It looks like it was an oversight of paperwork or something, and it means very much to me. This big building's gonna be behind my house, and I know there's a parking lot and trees, but my house is above, so those trees aren't gonna do nothing unless they're 100 feet high, each one of them. So I was just here to remind you of my issue still, and I was wondering if Mayor and Council, if you can please continue and see what has happened to my proposal and the contingency, and that was it. So if you could please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any members of the public participating through Zoom that would like to comment on any items?
Thank you, Mayor. If there's anyone on the Zoom call, now is the time to raise your hand, and we'll unmute you shortly. Again, now is the time for Zoom public comment, and we'll give you just a few moments. Seeing none, Mayor, there's no public comment.
Okay. What about public comments for non-listed agenda items? Do we have any? No?
No registered public comment, Mayor.
Okay. Let's move to presentations. Can I have Jason Asnoff and Lynn Throckmorton come up to the front, please, and we will be presenting the Riverside County Arts and Culture Month proclamation. Linda Krupa.
Yes, I'm going to read it from up here, and then I'm going to come down and hand it to you. So this is a proclamation from the City of Hemet, California, on Riverside County Arts and Culture Month. Whereas Riverside County has emerged as a leader in arts and culture, and whereas the encouragement of local artists and the steadfast support of the arts community are deemed essential for elevating the quality of life in Riverside County and fostering economic stimulation through tourism, arts, and innovation. And whereas our vibrant arts and culture scene have been cultivated through extensive partnerships with local nonprofits, private corporations, cities, and strategic allies, collectively contributing to Riverside County's leadership in the arts. And whereas a cultural landscape that bolsters the arts and culture community in Riverside County is crucial not only for promoting tourism throughout the county, but also for enriching the lives of our residents. And whereas the County of Riverside values a dynamic atmosphere that fosters innovation, education, and outreach within the local arts community, recognizing these as vital components for the success, health, and advancement of our county. Now therefore, Joe Males, Mayor of the City of Hemet, along with the entire Hemet City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2024 as Riverside County Arts and Culture Month and encourage all of the arts and the artists in our communities and in the region. Presented this day, February 27, 2024. And now I'll come down.
Linda, let's, Lynn, I know you called me and wanted me to present this to you on Saturday. I just been overwhelmed and busy. Right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and give this to Jason Asnoff because he's out of Riverside. I'm gonna have another one printed out for you, and I'll personally bring it to you Saturday at your meeting. Is that okay? That's okay. Thank you.
And I would like Stephanie and Lynn to be in the picture op, photo op, one on either side, if you would, because you are part of the awesome Hemet Art Association, Hemet Valley Art Association, and your artwork is all over town and in my house. So would you like to say something on behalf of Riverside County?
Thank you so much for the proclamation. I do have a speech if you'd like me to give it.
Well, let's take a picture and then you can go to the podium and do that.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. We just need to get this in the newspaper. Make it good, Malcolm. Okie dokie. So we will give this to you, that you can take that to your people. And is there a mic there?
I believe so.
You can use that one if you want. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Lynn, make sure you give me the address to where I'm going. Thank you.
Thank you again. My name is Jason Asnoff. I'm with the County of Riverside Economic Development. I would like to thank the Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. And we're excited to announce March 2024 as the inaugural Riverside County Arts and Culture Month. This is a month-long celebration that aims to raise awareness and showcase the diverse and vibrant arts and cultural landscapes across Riverside County. We're thrilled to partner with the cities and organizations in promoting art, education, and tourism. Each cultural destination holds its own unique treasures to discover. Participants can acquire commemorative exploration pass by visiting a Riverside County Library Systems branch, city library, or a participating location. Additionally, certain participating locations will host special events on specific days, providing attendees with opportunities for engaging activities. We thank the City of Hemet for your support and participation in this exciting initiative. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
I saw the announcement on the supervisor's newsletter, and I think it's great. And I'll go out with you, and I will be there on Saturday also, so we can go together.
Rain or shine, right? Thank you. And I would like
Thank
to
you.
present a gift to Honorable Mayor Joe.
Should I get this microphone?
Hmm?
Should I get the microphone?
Yeah. That's,
Oh, he's gonna bring it up here. I was
Oh.
just gonna come get it. Thank you.
oh, oh,
Ah,
I'm not allowed to accept gifts.
Under
Huh?
$50.
How come it's why is it ticking? Thank you, thank you. I'll look at it when we, okay.
Pass it down.
Okay. We will now move on to public hearing. The city council's procedure for public hearing will be as followed. Staff will provide a report and clarification of items presented. The public hearing will be open for comments for those in favor of or in opposition to the item, followed by rebuttal to any comments made. The public hearing will be closed and the city manager may respond to any questions raised by the public. The public will not have an opportunity to respond. I think I went through this one time before, didn't I? And I was only supposed to say one. Start off with one or same? Okay. And discussion will be brought back to the city council for direction or action. Can we get a report from staff on this item, please? 13A.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This is for an ordinance of the City Council modifying Section 66-4 and adding Sections 66-4A through C of Chapter 66, Article 1 for encroachment permits. The Public Works Engineering Division issues encroachment permits to utilities for activities in the right-of-way, such as routine maintenance and repair for service and main lines of utilities. In the 2022-2023 fiscal year, the city issued 238 encroachment permits to various utilities, such as Eastern Municipal Water District and Southern California Gas Company. Issuing blanket encroachment permits would allow the utilities to perform their maintenance and repair work under one year-long permit that would streamline the process for the applying utility and the city. Standard conditions would apply to the blanket permit, such as traffic control and city inspection requirements. The utility would be required to report each excavation performed, have their work inspected, and pay a yearly fee. Staff recommends that the City Council open a public hearing and take testimony, if any, and waive full reading, read by title only, and introduce an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hemet, California, modifying Section 66-4 and adding Section 66-4A through C of Chapter 66, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 1 in general of the Hemet Municipal Code for encroachment permits. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing. City Clerk, do we have any public comments?
Mayor, there are no registered public comments.
No. I will now close the public hearing. Council, do you have any comments for discussion? No? No? Who would like to move for approval? And a second.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
City Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion by Councilmember Kendrick, second by Councilmember Krupa. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Kendrick,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Males.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0. And for the record, to read the ordinance title. To waive full reading, read by title only, and introduce an ordinance 2029 of the City Council of the City of Hemet, California, modifying Section 66-4 and adding Section 66-4A through C of Chapter 66, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 1, in general of the Hemet Municipal Code for encroachment permits.
Thank you, sir. We will now move to receive and file. Council, any comments?
Yes, Mayor, I have some general comments.
I
On-
can't hear that well.
I have general comments on item 14A.
Okay.
I had a lot of comments on that, and staff answered a lot of my questions, but in general, I just want to bring up that I want to make sure that everything that we can charge back to projects and applicants that we are, like such as Press Enterprise, publications for projects and consultants that we're using to peer review for projects. I just want to ensure that those are happening regularly so that they don't impact the budget. I also have some concerns with late invoices. So there's one item on there that the invoice was 7 months late. So I think that we need to work better with our vendors to make sure that we're getting billed timely, because that can become problematic when you start changing fiscal year. And so those were the comments that I had at this point.
Any other council members? And what about any comments on 14B at all? We will then receive and file the reports. We got all the information down. We'll move on to consent calendar. All consent calendar items will be acted upon simultaneously unless requested by an individual council member for separate consideration. Are there any members of the council that would like to pull any consent items for separate consideration?
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I would like to just add, for item 15I, we'd like to insert language on section 2, paragraph 1, for that paragraph to read in full, to authorize the city manager or his designee to retroactively and automatically extend tentative parcel maps, vested tentative maps, and tentative parcel maps listed in Exhibit A, and this is the part we're inserting, and any other map approved for extension under AB 1303 and AB 2973. That's the end of the insertion. In accordance with Government Code Section 66452.6E, for the length of time city staff had inappropriately approved for extension under AB 1303 and AB 2973. Thank you, Mayor. So if approved, it would be as amended. I
As
just stated.
amended. Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other items that need to be pulled?
I'd like to make a comment on 15I also. There's just one grammar correction I'd like to see on the first line of the resolution. Over the past 16 years, there has been, that needs to be changed to have been. Since it's a permanent record, I'd like the grammar correct.
As amended.
Okay, great. Any other items in the consent calendar?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item 15J.
15J.
I have questions on 15J also.
Any other items?
I'll make a motion to approve all of the items except for J.
City Clerk?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mayor. That's a motion to approve the consent calendar with the removal of item 15J for separate consideration and amending 15I per the city attorney's amendments. Motion by Councilmember Krupa, second by Councilmember Lilienthal. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Kendrick?
That was wrong.
It was the other way around.
Oh, excuse me. Motion by Councilmember Krupa, second by Councilmember Lilienthal. Is that correct?
I made the motion.
Okay. Councilmember Kendrick?
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa?
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Males?
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
It's a bit hard, because we usually get to see you guys.
I know.
And then 15J.
Okay, so we got that. Okay, 15J.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So obviously I have a concern with $1.4 million going to a consultant that basically is supplementing staff. I think that this is just highlighting the bigger issue that we have. And I find it very problematic that, you know, we can't pay our employees a median wage, but we're paying these contractors and consultants to supplement staff. My big question is, what are we doing to solve this issue? And the fact that we went from $50,000 to $1.4 million, you know, I'm just concerned about how much this has grown. And, you know, that I mean, on the warrant registers, we see so many consultant bills on there for augmentation of staff. And I just, like I said, I'd like to highlight that, I mean, this is an ongoing problem, and it seems to be not trending in the right direction. So I just would like to, I'd like to know what our plan is to kind of rectify this problem and stop relying on consultants to perform our daily functions.
So why don't I answer the?
Can I
Yeah,
just make my
sure.
comment on this?
Let him reply first, please.
Well, I just
Oh,
want to add
you're
to what
adding
she
to
said.
that? Okay.
I agree with everything that Councilmember Kendrick just said, and I too would like to know what we're doing to stop the bleeding, so to speak. But also, when we rely on contracts like this, we lose the continuity for employees and for the history of our city. So definitely urge a solution and would like to know what it is.
Mark?
So just a couple comments. We're, from a service level perspective, we want to make sure that we do everything we can to serve our customers. And you can see by the revenue that's noted in the staff report in this operation that there's a large volume of work that's arriving this year. The revenue that we've received to date has already exceeded the budgeted revenues for the full year in permit revenue. And I agree with the council because I've seen the preliminary look at the current state of our salaries relative to market. That information has been available to us for about 2 weeks now. And we're about to jump into labor negotiations. The contracts that we're involved in now will terminate in June, on June 30th. And I know that this council is committed to doing everything we can to provide a competitive salary in the marketplace for all of our employees, including the employees of our building life safety department. And so over the course of the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to be negotiating contracts in the spirit of working to deliver competitive salaries and at the same time make sure that our budget is balanced. And based on the current condition of the city's finances, I'm confident that we're going to be in July. We'll have labor contracts in front of you that will be much closer to market. So it's an ongoing process. In the interim, what we've done with this amendment is to make sure that we have services available through the end of June. And these services will not necessarily be needed if we're able to fill staff positions between today and June. So the numbers are the total that we expect. It could be a little bit lighter, but we're expecting that the city's ability to attract and retain employees will be easier after July 1.
Thank you, City Manager. I make a motion to approve item 15J.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Councilmember Kendrick, second by Councilmember Krupa. We're going to do a roll call. Councilmember Kendrick,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Males.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
Okay. Moving on to discussion items or action items. Our first discussion item is, can we have a staff presentation, please, on 16A?
evening, can you hear me?
That's,
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me
c-
tonight.
can you speak close? I can't hear you.
Okay,
I'm
how
sorry.
about that?
Yeah.
Okay, good evening. I'm going to give a presentation for the mid-year update and mid-year review. So we'll go ahead and we do have a presentation ready. So we're going to go ahead and start that. I have to read here. Okay. Okay, so the fiscal year 23-24 budget was originally adopted June 27th, 2023. This mid-year budget review focuses on programs and projects financed through the general fund. The 23-24 mid-year review includes the following highlights: a comparison of estimated to budgeted revenues and expenditures, review of recommended budget adjustments, budget considerations for 24-25. Okay. So what this slide shows is that we adopted a budget June 27th, 2023, and it was a balanced budget with revenues meeting the expenditures. We did use the one-time fund balance for investments into the community. General fund revenues. In the analysis of the general fund revenues, sales tax are not as strong as initially budgeted. However, building fees have soared above the city's initial expectation. As of December 31st, 2023, the general fund revenue collection was 31.16%, with Measure U sales tax revenue alone receiving $5,381,692, or 31.96%. Of the budgeted revenues of 16.840. Keep in mind that the larger bulk of general fund revenues are collected in the second half of the fiscal year due to sales tax collected 2 months in arrears and property tax collected in the months of December and April. So property taxes, based on the updated HDL property tax estimates and our analysis, revenues are trending as expected and projected to end within budget. Sales tax is the one where we are looking at a little closer. Based on HDL sales tax estimates and the city's forecast, sales tax revenues are forecasted to be about 9% lower than what was originally budgeted. This equates to a reduction of approximately $3.1 million. Building fees, based on the actual community development fees from the Department of Life Safety Building Division, permits are outpacing what the city had initially budgeted and are projected to exceed expectations by at least 35%, which equivalates to about $2.125 million. Other revenues, the city is also anticipating a slight increase in other financing based, such as the contract between the police department and the Hemet Unified School District, police mutual aid overtime, fire state mandated fees, and Department of Life Safety collection of vehicle abatement fees. Okay. As a result of staff's recommendation, the amendments to general fund revenues are expected to decrease by an amount of $452,200. Please note that this includes the addition of mutual aid overtime in the amount of $70,000 that wasn't originally posted in the staff report, which was sent as a separate memo. Non-general fund revenues. Revenues appear to be in line with budget expectations in non-general funds. As with last year, development impact fees continue to grow with continued development in the city, and staff is not recommending any amendments to the non-general fund accounts at this time. Through the end of December 2023, the general fund departments are within their budget. General fund expenditures through December 31st, 2023 are at 53.21 of the overall budget, and included in the total is Measure U, which is at 49.53 of its budget. And this again is on the expenditure side. Departments and divisions regularly review their budgets to ensure that adequate funding exists in order to continue providing services to the community. At mid-year, a thorough review is completed, giving departments an opportunity to address unavoidable and unexpected costs that were anticipated at the that were not anticipated at the time of the budget adoption. While the expenditures outweigh the revenue during this review, there is substantial savings from the general fund from vacancies within the police department alone, which offsets the expenditure requests. These items assist departments as they work to meet their strategic goals and they are as follows. So City Council, you guys are requesting an increase of $21,700 for marketing, travel, lodging, registration, and membership for upcoming ICSC, and reimbursement of travel expenses to the League of California Cities in Monterey, which weren't initially budgeted for. The city manager is asking an increase of $8,500 for unbudgeted increases in the League of California City dues and Southern California Association of Government dues. These dues increase because of population size that wasn't initially anticipated at the time of budget. Fire and life safety, first, the fire prevention division is requesting an increase of $5,000 for overtime, as one was not initially established at the beginning of the year, and it will accommodate occasional overtime. There is also a request of $25,000 for professional services for weed abatement. The current contract with ACE Weed Abatement has been exhausted, and these funds will assist in future weed abatement services. Sorry. All right, so we are at the code compliance piece. They are requesting an increase of $10,000 for overtime to meet the demands of cleaning the streets during the weekend. An increase of $5,500 for on-call special pay to activate the special pay that is for on-call SEIU members. Currently, they are called out and they do not receive on-call pay like those employees that are in Public Works. So they're seeking to activate that and fund it. There is also an increase for $19,400 for salary and fringe benefits for one additional code enforcement officer. This estimate is for 2 months remaining in the year. Ongoing cost for implementing this change will be approximately $99,800 going forward, fully burdened rate each year. Changing the building inspector 2 is the next request. This position was removed from the budget back in 2021. The cost to re-implement the change of this position is approximately about a $7,900 cost per year moving forward as a fully burdened rate. However, at this time, if we do make this change, there's no additional cost because of existing salary savings. Changing the building inspector 2 to a senior building inspector is being recommended to bring in more expertise that can provide better customer service to the community and help meet the demands of the increased workflow that's occurring in the department itself. Their second request is to replace the currently approved building technician 2 part-time to a full-time position to address the increase of work and activity that's going on. The cost to implement the change for the current fiscal year is nothing, but moving forward, the change in that position from part-time to full-time is approximately $51,300 fully burdened rate. And for non-general fund, expenditures are in line with budget expectations in the non-general fund. Therefore, staff is not recommending any amendments to the non-general fund accounts. I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. Okay. So the next slide here kind of shows you the change that we are going to see with our fund balance. I need to look at this one, I'm sorry. So with the increase in the, we started the year for revenues at 70,988,294. The mid-year request is going to be reduced by 452,200 with a new balance of 70.5 million. Expenditures are going to increase from what the adjusted budget is, coming up to 72.8 million. And then we wanted to separate out the use of one-time fund balance so it doesn't look like we're overspending, because this is use of fund balance that wasn't initially, it was an optional thing for us to move forward with. So the actual subtotal looks as it's a deficit of $10.6 million, but if you factor in the vacancy savings that we have from our general fund vacancies, it's a net of 7.6 million of a deficit. But again, take into account that 3 million or the 8 million that was for one-time use of fund balance, if that wasn't in here, we would be recognizing like $1 million worth of a surplus. So. And just for a refresher, I have up here the items that we used for the funding that we used for the one-time investments into the community. So that shows you what that 8.4 million ties into, and it's broken down between general fund and Measure U. So changes in the general fund balance. So the impact, if we were to take the figures right now, we would, okay, so first, the 23, we haven't issued the ACFR yet. It is in the final stages of being approved, but we do have the fund balance number, which is $63.6 million, which is extremely healthy for our financial standing. And if we were to apply that deficit, we're going to end this fiscal year at $55.9 million of a fund balance, and that is significant. We still have a healthy position. For fiscal year 22, our fund balance was 54 million. For fiscal year 23, the fund balance is 63.6 million, and projected for 24, the fund balance is projected to be 56 million, which is still $2 million above what occurred in fiscal year 22. So even with all of the investments, the fund balance is still $2 million above what it was fiscal year 22. So we are in good shape. And that is the conclusion of the presentation. And the staff recommends to adopt a resolution amending the first fiscal year 23-24 budget, approving appropriations and amending the budgeted positions. And with that, if you have any comments or concerns, questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any comments from the council?
Since we don't have the PowerPoint in our staff report, I'd like to have you send out that one slide that had the general fund and the Measure U that listed all the things that we approved, just so it's a snapshot.
Sure.
Could you just send all of them?
Yeah, send it to
I'll
all.
send you the whole deck. I'll send you the whole
We can
deck.
pick and choose.
Yeah.
I have one question,
Okay.
and maybe I wasn't listening. On the, what is this called? The fiscal impact, it's on the staff report right after the 5 goals. And it lists out the different areas with the increase and what it's for. And the last entry on there is police patrol, overtime $70,000. The definition or explanation is security services for Indio PD, reimbursable.
Yes.
What are we doing with Indio PD?
They will provide security patrol for the events, the concert series that are held out there for Coachella and Stagecoach.
Okay,
And the city of Indio will reimburse for the expense.
okay, so I did
So
miss it.
It's like it's going to be like a wash.
Yeah, I know a lot of, well, I know a lot of private security that's going to be out there too, so good job. That's it.
And then one more question was, it's kind of similar to hers, is we get reimbursed for the weed abatements as well, right?
For that, I'm not sure.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
In the case of weed abatement, we're recommending an increase of $25,000. We know that behind Four Seasons, we've taken on that expense this year. We made a decision that we would be able to absorb the cost in the current year budget, and we're using the mid-year budget adjustments to update the budget to reflect that investment. But that's going to need to be an ongoing expense for the city to reduce fire risk and mitigate fire risk in that area.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? And I'm always available via email, phone, stop by my office.
I just have one question.
Sure.
On the ICSC, we have 5 council members going. Are we sending 5 council members to Vegas?
Well, one of our council members is, I think, going to receive a free trip from funded by another agency. I'm aware that the League of California Cities also has some training later this year that there may be at least 2 council members interested in attending. So
At this
the extra
event?
investment that would have been otherwise made in ICSC could be applied to some additional training and or activities through the League of California Cities. But that's ultimately a policy call of the council on what you would like to fund.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, can we get a motion, please? And a second?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion by Councilmember Kendrick, second by Councilmember Lilienthal. We'll do a roll call. Councilmember Kendrick,
Yes.
Councilmember Krupa,
Yes.
Councilmember Lilienthal,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Males.
Yes.
That motion passes 5-0.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we'd also like to thank the staff for such an exceptional job on the budget. Thank you very much to all who participated. We are going to move now to City Council and staff reports. And it's only 7:45. Holy smoke, Malcolm.
Y'all better stop.
What? Councilmember Krupa?
Okay, report for the library trustees. They had their meeting last week. It went well, and upcoming Read Across America is going to be coming up this next week. And I'm hoping that all of you, some of you, if not all of you, have signed up to read at the library or at one of our local schools. I will be reading at Little Lake to 3rd graders, which is scary. Very scary.
I can top you on that one.
So on the other, next one, League of California Cities, the next general meeting is March 14th, and it will be in Corona. The location has changed and the day has changed. So we will have 2 meetings on Thursday nights this year and the rest of them on Monday nights. For RCTC, City Manager, have we been able to schedule a traffic relief plan presentation for our council?
Not yet, but we will find a date for that.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. RTA, a couple of things with them for Black History Month and also for, I believe it was called Equity Day. RTA reserved the front seat, not the driver's seat, just a front seat on each and every one of their vehicles and buses with a sign that it was reserved for Rosa Parks, which I thought was very nice. They got a lot of good publicity out of that and a lot of good comments. They have also signed on to a national resolution for human trafficking awareness. and all of the drivers on RTA are going through extensive training of recognizing the signs of human trafficking and how to report it, how to handle something like that if it occurred on their buses. Let's see. Watermaster, we had our quarterly meeting last night. Very long, very good meeting. It went the entire 2 hours that we were allocated, and the major topic of conversation was the discussion on whether or not the Watermaster should change the safe yield of the valley, of the aquifer. And I can probably guarantee that outside of Noah and I, nobody else knows a whole lot about that. So I would like to maybe let Noah do 10 or 15-minute presentation coming up soon, and get this council on board and just informed of what the Watermaster is, how important it is. And the Watermaster was formed, we're a court-appointed body. City of Hemet, City of San Jacinto, Independent Pumpers, Lake Hemet Water District, and Eastern Municipal Water District. There's 5 representatives appointed by the court. And we manage the water replenishment for the basin, and it is as a result of the 50-year lawsuit between Saboba and Metropolitan Water District. It was finalized in 2013, and the Watermaster was formed, and we have been working since then, and we have some good results. Expensive, very expensive, but very good when you take into account that we all rely on the groundwater in this valley. So if sometime we could put Noah on spot and he could give us all of the intimate details of that. But the end result last night, we did not approve a change, did not approve a reduction in it. We directed staff to come back and work with the TAC on different ways of measurements and how we determine water levels throughout the entire basin, and why some water wells are going down, some are stabilizing, some are increasing, and what the seepage is between all of the subzones in the basin. I'm going on far too long. So outside of that, some fun things that I have been able to do this past couple weeks. Went to the grand ribbon cutting for the chamber at Airtopia. And if you haven't been there, it is a fun zone on Palm and Florida, next to the Walmart neighborhood market. Fun for all ages. Rock climbing, wall climbing, things for just everything. Plus they have an adult area, so that's going to be fun. And Joe goes there all the time.
I do with my grandkids. And the grown-up part of it, they're going to serve alcohol.
Yes, there's going to be a sky lounge for the adults. That's going to be fun. Also, Saturday night, I had the pleasure of attending with 3 of my other council members, the Black Voices of the Valley 3rd Annual Dinner, which was absolutely fun. Reminiscent of the 70s. I won't go there. And another really interesting thing that took me out of my comfort zone was talking to a group of 4th and 5th graders about leadership. And that's scary too. That's like reading to 3rd graders. But to have to talk to 4th and 5th graders, and it was so good. Their little minds were just, it was awesome. I told them they had to be gentle, and they had to be friendly, and they had to be nice to me, and they were. Asked great questions, were interested in how you get into a leadership position, for a city council, how do you get into government work. I mean, it was really exciting. So we've got a bright future with a lot of the kids that we have in our valley. And that's about all I've done.
Councilmember Kendrick.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to keep this brief, but I had a lot of things happen in the last 2 weeks. On February 14th, I did a Cal League of Cities Mayor and Council Member Roundtable. That was about an hour-and-a-half discussion with other council members and mayors throughout California, talking about the challenges of navigating kind of, the election season that's upon us and coming up later this year, and just discussing solutions or options, you know, in trying to be more active. On February 15th, I attended the Cal Cities Joint Division meeting in San Bernardino, and we had the CEOs for both Riverside and San Bernardino County. It was a very good discussion. You know, everybody's kind of dealing with the same issues. They also had an attorney that was moderating. There was a lot of good information going back and forth, and some of our colleagues from the desert brought up some fantastic comments that, you know, still resonate with me. But that was a very good event for me. On the 16th, there was the Hemet San Jacinto group, where Jennifer O'Farrell from Healthy Valley Foundations talked to us about her listening tour and trying to get ideas on how to improve areas in our community. I think I'm booked with her either next week or the week after. Planning Commission was supposed to occur last week, but it was moved to last night. And so on that agenda, we had Palm Villas. There was a lot of lively discussion, but that was approved 5-0, as well as a 89,000 square foot warehouse. On February 22nd, the city manager had arranged a meeting with key executive staff to meet with an applicant, not an applicant, a property owner in the first district to discuss some issues that have been going on for a period of time. And I just want to thank the city manager and all the staff that showed up. I thought it was very productive, and I really think that we're going to move forward to kind of resolve the concerns. On Saturday, I did a ride-along with Fire Station 3, and I guess I have the council member curse. I'm going to keep trying until I break it, but I spent time with, it was Billington, McIntyre, and Taylor, and they were much different calls than my first ride-along. Really seeing these guys work to save a life was, it was impressive. It was a little shocking to kind of witness that, but I mean, they were doing a great job and kept bringing her back. And then I did attend later that night the Black Voices of the Valley. I mean, it was fantastic. The singers, the entertainment, the outfits. I mean, the outfits were incredible, and it really focused on our youth. And it was providing scholarships, but not just for academics, but for other areas. It was really beautiful to see, you know, these children being recognized. And then we had two speakers that were extremely moving. I came away from that event very touched. And then on Monday, yesterday, I did a ride-along with Public Works, Building and Code, and I can't remember all the staff's names, so I apologize, but you know, a shout out to all the Public Works staff and Code and Building. I really learned a lot. I saw many aspects of Public Works, including, you know, 3 tree trimming trucks that typically we don't have 3 working at the same time, working in a neighborhood. I mean, just, you know, trimming trees. We went and looked at you know, streets that are getting grinded and overlaid, watched staff members, you know, trying to replace electrical lines that have been, you know, damaged by, you know, people that are trying to steal or destroy our assets. So much, and I did point out to Noah that we drove by a lot of sites and we saw a lot of different contractors doing other work, and our staff was hustling every time we drove by, and the contractors, you know, were like sitting, laying against the truck, talking on the phone. So I was really pleased. I mean, our people are really out there and they're working hard, and I just want to say thank you to all of them. And with Code, it was eye-opening. I I thought that we were still enforcing not having vehicles parked on an unimproved surface in single-family residential areas, and staff pointed out probably at least 30 in my 2-hour ride along. And this goes back to, you know, what I told the council when I applied for this position, is we need to start making property owners responsible. The overgrown weeds and, you know, in-op vehicles, my understanding is we're not actively enforcing that, and I'd kind of like to know why, and, you know, we need to. I wholeheartedly agree we need more code staff to be able to do that. And then also, I know that weed abatement letters only go out once a year, and I think previously they used to go out twice a year, so I wanted to kind of look into that to see if we can stay on top of that, especially with the wet seasons that we're having. Weed abatement is going to become an issue. I am going to be reading at Little Lake on Thursday, and I'm going to be reading the book that our fire chief wrote. So I'm very excited about that, and I have a lot of goodies for the children from the fire department. So I'm very excited about that, and that's all I have at this point.
Are you sure? You're positive. Next, Councilmember Lilienthal with 5 pages.
Right?
I do have.
No, you're done.
No, I have 2 more things. So I just want the public to know.
Shut that mic, please.
No. When I was out with Public Works, so I just want to let the public know that we do have a Cash for Grass rebate program, and you it's not weed. It's not weed. So you receive $3 per square foot of grass removed. I don't think a lot of people know about it. Reach out to our Public Works Department. They can help you. And then they also have the Weather-Based Irrigation Controller Rebate Program. It's a great program. I encourage our citizens to participate in this. We are here to help you get, go more drought tolerant and be, and protect our water. So I just wanted to highlight those as well.
We're going to have to cut Councilmember Lilienthal. You took his time. Next will be Councilman. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so for Community Action Partnership, the executive committee met, and there's a basic mediation training program that I'd like to make you guys aware of, and you can find more information about that. So that is a program that teaches you how to enhances conflict resolution skills, and then so anyone interested can reach out to Community Action's Alternative Dispute Resolution Program, and you can find that at capriverside.org. The other thing that we were talking about was the tax credit, so the earned income tax credit, and there is an Awareness Day event, and they are seeking free tax filing services for anyone interested in the community, and for that information, it's under VITA, which is spelled VITA, at capriverside.org. And that's spelled CAPRIVERSIDE.org. And then I also attended the Black Voices of the Valley event, so I don't have to expound upon that. And then there was also an event at the Tahquitz High School that had, so basically it highlighted the importance of community service, so internships, scholarships, directly connecting students with different pathways. And so there were real estate agents there. There were all kinds of like booths out there that kind of, even the military, some of our military not ROTC, but our actual, the recruitment was out there for all the students that were interested in that. And then the Mayor Minty started today. We had the infamous Mayor Pro Tem Peterson, who kicked us off, and so you look forward to the presentations from the kids in the future. For that, then Resiliency in the Valley met. That was on Monday, and so we had a virtual presentation to understand adverse childhood experiences. We also had an they talked about an ACE training event, and then we had a presentation from, if you guys remember, trauma intervention program. Magda did a presentation on how you could volunteer your services when our first responders go out. You could be the person that stays behind and gives resources to the families when they lost a loved one, or to wait for the coroner to show up, and when it's the worst case scenario, you're there for those families. And then another thing that we talked about was the meeting concluded with a symposium for resiliency in the Valley, showcasing collaborative efforts with local organizations. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring awareness to adverse childhood experiences through putting on an event that they titled an ACEs symposium. So look forward for more information about that.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll have Councilmember Peterson.
Okay, so I went to some of the same events that everybody else did, so I won't reiterate on all that. But I did go to the Student of the Month, which is at Saboba Country Club, and it's a great presentation from all the high schools for the Student of the Month, and they have fascinating stories, and as Linda said, there's a lot of promise in this valley. It is amazing that these students have so much diversity sometimes, and they just overcome it, and they're just, they volunteer, and they help their families, they help their family members, they help their mom and dad get through tough times, and it's just really an inspiring, very wonderful event for us to attend and congratulate them. So that was going on. And Linda, I get to read to the fourth graders, okay? So I'm more intimidating. And as I mentioned at one of our previous council members, I sit on the Riverside County Habitat Conservation Agency, and they're all about the kangaroo rat, okay? So one of the managers there, nice young lady, she wrote this book called Kippy the Kangaroo. And I mentioned it to Kathy Keynes, our librarian, and I'm going to read for the library next week also. And I said, yeah, I want to read Kippy the Kangaroo. And she said, I purchased it. So she already has it. But I'm going to read to Little Lake this in a couple days, and I'm going to be at the library too, and that'll be fun. So I won't take any more time because they told you about all the events, and we've been active, so we're getting out there, and it's good.
Great. Thank I won't repeat what I said. No. We had the Cal Cities Mayor meeting and discussed different events coming up. We have the Riverside Division meeting at Eagle Glen Golf Club in Corona that will be coming up, I believe, next month. And then we have the City Leaders Summit that offers opportunities for city leaders from across the state to influence policy decisions in the Capitol and gain top-notch leadership skills. That'll be going on in April, I believe. Yes, April 17th through 19th, if we want to send a couple council members there. I also attended the Black Voices of the Valley, and I thought it was a great event. And there's one speaker that they had there he was awesome. This gentleman, his name is Robert Penton. He has a MMA behind his name. I think he is a minister. He got his credentials from the American Baptist in Berkeley, and also a BA from don't know, from some state college. But anyways, he was a former Black Panther, ran the streets when he was young, born in 1947 in Louisiana, moved to LA, and turned his life around. Now he works with youth, and he mentors them, and he was a great speaker and speaks from the heart. And I really got a lot out of that, and we had a discussion afterwards, and he was a very nice gentleman. So I learned a lot from that event, And I also went to along with Council Member Kendrick, we went to the CTEX Fire Explorer Muster held at the California State Fire Association. And this was a competition amongst all the explorers within different cities. They were from Corona, were there any LA people there?
I
Or
don't-
were they all just Riverside?
No, because there was Stanislaus, there was Escondido, there.
Yeah, they were.
We
yeah,
had
and
our
they
Hemet
competed.
Explorers that really,
And it was a great competition. Unfortunately, Hemet didn't win, but I believe Moreno Valley took first place, and Riverside 101A took second, and Riverside 101B took third. But Hemet gave it a good fight out there. They did well.
And I had forgot to mention that, but when Councilmember Peterson was talking about the youth, it was so amazing to see these young people pushing themselves to the limit. And I mean, there was young men and young women pulling a 100-foot hose a very long distance. I mean, and they didn't give up. I mean, some of them struggled.
I got a kick out of the girls.
The girls
There was one
struggled, but
girl about 99 pounds, and she was pulling this hose, and her feet were moving, but she wasn't going anywhere. It was amazing.
And the rule is the last team gets the most cheers. And I mean, you saw people, I mean, all their colleagues, even not with the cities or jurisdiction that they were representing, I mean, just fist bumping these girls. It was.
But the thing with the one girl that was pulling that hose, the camaraderie, her team got around her and was cheering her on, go, 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 and then all the other teams got around her and was cheering her on, and I think a couple of them were kicking the hose to help her.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was a good event.
These are our future firefighters, and it was so impressive.
Yeah. So anyways, that's all I have, and so we're gonna move on to ad hoc committees. We'll skip ad hoc committees right now, because I don't, unless I can't hear you. I'm getting there, that's why I'm skipping that. Okay, so we will now move to the city manager report.
Okay, I'm gonna update you on a couple of things that are in the city update that our community may not be aware of. The first is there are 2 events coming up on the weekend of April 6th and 7th. One is called the Bedrock Valley Trail Run. It's actually trail runs. There's a 5K, a 15K, which is 9.3 miles, a 13.1 mile half marathon, and a 26.2 mile marathon around Diamond Valley Lake. So this is at least the second year of this event, and we're going to be promoting this through our economic development manager and city social media accounts. But Bedrock Valley Trail Runs, I think I may have to run at least a 5K that day. That's probably about as far as I can go.
Yeah.
Who's putting it on?
This is a organization called Elevate. Just a second. Elevate Culture, and it's a race series. So they do races around the country in different locations, and this is going to be at least the second year in our valley. So really, really impressive organization. The next day on April 7th, there is a gravel ride in the same area, and so this is a 2-day event essentially. There is a 10K gravel ride for youth, and then 36K, 72K, and 108K gravel ride bicycle ride opportunities on that weekend. The bicycle ride is called a Dirt Festival. I really like that name. On April 27th, we're going to have our community day of cleanup. This is really a community call to action on April 27th. It will run from 7 a.m. to noon. We've locked in West Valley High School as the meetup, and we're going to begin advertising for this tomorrow. The website has under the residence link, so city website, hemetca.gov. If you go to residents, you can already find the link to more information about this event. I signed up at the beginning, right before the meeting started tonight. And so my family is signed up to be a volunteer on Saturday, April 27th. I volunteered 2 other people without asking permission. As a reminder, the Ramona pageant, the 101st anniversary is coming up soon. We're going to be live on the weekends of April 20th and 21st, April 27th and 28th, and May 4th and 5th. And because democracy rewards those that participate, I want to invite the city clerk to talk briefly about the election.
Thank you, Manager Prestwich. I just wanted to announce that on March 5th, the 2024 presidential primary election will take place, and your very own City Hall will be accepting ballots from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., so bright and early, and that there are several vote centers throughout the city, and I'll just name a few, including Calvary Chapel in Hemet, Hemet Public Library, Sierra Dawn Clubhouse, and Tockwitz High School. So I encourage everyone to go out and vote on March 5th, again from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And one additional reminder is that City Hall is a early voting ballot drop-off location. So if you have a ballot you'd like to drop off, you can stop by anytime during business hours this week. Thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
real quick, I want to know if I could make a motion to add another ad hoc committee, and I want to see if Linda would be open to serving on it with me for arts and culture.
Sure.
Yes.
Arts and culture.
All right.
I want to say one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we need a vote on that? An official blessing
Yeah, I
from
think
council?
we do, don't we?
So the mayor has the authority to create the ad hoc committee and appoint to it. We can put the official blessing on the agenda for the next meeting.
All right, let's do that. Thank you.
I'd just like to say one thing about the cleanup day on April 27th. I'm very excited about this day. We want to get like at least 1,000 people in the city of Hemet to help us with this. And the more the merrier. And one thing that wasn't mentioned is on the website you can volunteer, but there's also a place that if you know of a project that needs some TLC, and it could be an elderly person, it could be a disabled person, it could be some kind of a city-owned, yard project, whatever. So it's business and residents, and we want to clean up the city. So you can volunteer, and you can also recommend projects on there, so.
And isn't this called Hemet Beautiful?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't heard anyone mention that. Did you say that? You said that. Oh, my error. Okay.
Are we looking into partnerships with Lowe's and Home Depot?
I'll be working.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I already have been working on sponsorships for that. I don't know if you got my email. Yeah, you got it? Okay. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned to the next city council meeting on March 12, 2024. Friendly reminder for March 5th, 2024, the presidential primary election will be taking place. Contact our city clerk office for more information. Thank you for joining us tonight.